On December 4th, 1872, a ship was found adrift in the middle of the Atlantic, its sails full, its course steady, but with no one at the helm. This was the Mary Celeste. On board, the crew's personal belongings were dry and untouched, and the ship's cargo remained largely intact. The only things missing were the ship's single lifeboat, the captain's navigational instruments, and every single soul who had been on board just 10 days prior. For 150 years, this has been history's greatest maritime mystery. Why would a seasoned crew, led by a respected captain, abandon a perfectly seaworthy ship? The story of the Mary Celeste has been twisted into a ghost tale for over a century, famously sensationalized by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle himself. To find the truth, one must look past the folklore and focus solely on the documented, verifiable evidence: the official salvage court records from Gibraltar, the ship's recovered logbook, the captain's slate, and a modern understanding of the chemical nature of its cargo. The solution to the mystery isn't supernatural, it's hidden within the ship's own manifest and the laws of physics. The story begins 1 month earlier. On November 7, 1872, the Mary Celeste sailed from New York's harbor, bound for Genoa, Italy. She was commanded by Captain Benjamin Spooner Briggs, a man known throughout the shipping world for his competence, abstinence from drink, and fair-mindedness. This was not just a job for him, it was a family affair. He was joined by his wife, Sarah, and their 1-year-old daughter, Sophia, who would turn 2 years old during the voyage, making the voyage a home at sea. The 7 crewmen under his command were hand-picked professionals with extensive maritime experience. The ship was in excellent condition, recently refitted and loaded with a valuable cargo: 1,701 barrels of denatured alcohol, a volatile industrial fluid intended for fortifying Italian wines. The last entry in the captain's log was dated November 25th at 8 a.m., recording their position as just off the Azores Islands. 10 days later, she was found completely deserted, having sailed over 400 nautical miles on her own, a ghost ship in every sense of the word. Initial theories of piracy or violent mutiny were almost immediately dismissed. The cargo was largely intact, and the crew's personal effects, including money and pipes, were all present. Critically, there were no signs of violence. No blood, no broken furniture, no evidence of a struggle. The ship itself was in good condition, with the only notable damage being some torn sails and about 3.5 feet of water in the hold, not an unusual amount for a ship of its size. The real clues are what was missing: the ship's single lifeboat, its chronometer, and sextant. This suggested a deliberate, orderly evacuation. But why? The most enduring theory, supported by modern science, points to the cargo. 9 of the 1,701 barrels of alcohol were found empty. These 9 were made of red oak, which is known to be more porous than the white oak used for the other barrels. It's theorized that alcohol vapors slowly leaked from these porous barrels and built up in the unventilated hold. This created a highly combustible atmosphere. A sudden change in temperature or pressure could have caused a dramatic but harmless vapor explosion, a loud whoosh in a burst of vapor from the hold, creating the terrifying illusion of an imminent, catastrophic explosion. Faced with this apparent danger, Captain Briggs would have made the only prudent choice: a temporary evacuation to the lifeboat to protect his family and crew. Standard maritime protocol would be to attach a long tow line to the Mary Celeste, allowing them to follow at a safe distance. But in the unpredictable Atlantic, a sudden squall or a large wave could have snapped the line in an instant. The Mary Celeste, sails set, would have silently sailed away, leaving 10 people in a tiny boat hundreds of miles from land, watching their only hope for survival disappear over the horizon. The image of the Mary Celeste sailing alone is what made it a legend. But the real story isn't about a haunted vessel. It's a human story, about a captain's choice in a moment of perceived crisis. Captain Briggs wasn't a fool abandoning his ship. He was a husband and father who, faced with the terrifying prospect of his ship being blown to pieces with his family on board, made a split-second, rational decision based on a frightening but false signal. The true tragedy isn't the empty ship discovered by another crew. It's the silent, desperate fate of 10 people in a small, open boat. The chilling mystery of the Mary Celeste isn't supernatural. It's a heartbreaking story of a calculated risk gone horribly wrong. It's the story of a routine procedure, a temporary evacuation, turning into an irreversible death sentence, all because of a snapped rope and an unforgiving sea. Their final days were not a paranormal event. They were a grim, human struggle against starvation and despair. For over a century, people have looked for monsters, pirates, or portals in time to explain the Mary Celeste. We invent complex villains because the alternative is far more terrifying. The truth is there was no external enemy. There was no sea serpent or mutinous rage. There was only a chemical reaction, a loud sound in the dark, and a professional mariner's instinct to protect his people. The enduring horror of the Mary Celeste isn't the ship that was found, but the lifeboat that never was. It's a chilling reminder that in the vast, indifferent ocean, the line between procedure and peril is terrifyingly thin. A single moment of panic, however justified, can be the difference between a safe harbor and being completely and utterly erased from the world, leaving behind only a perfect, silent ghost ship to tell a story with no ending. The case of the Mary Celeste shows how a few missing facts can create a mystery for the ages. The alcohol vapor theory is the most scientific explanation we have, but it is still just that. A theory. What do you believe happened to the crew? Was it a panicked but logical evacuation? A freak weather event that swept the deck clean? Or something else entirely that the evidence doesn't show? Share your theory in the comment section below. And for more investigations that uncover the real stories behind history's most persistent legends, be sure to subscribe.